The sun was coming up. Light was getting in through the windows of Sweet Haven Bakery. These windows were all dusty from flour. The light hit the brown croissants that were laid out in rows. Emma Walsh was wiping her hands on her apron. This made marks on the blue apron that had faded a lot. She was looking outside to see all the people waiting for the bakery to open. Emma Walsh had put a lot of work into this bakery. She had made it from nothing. It was now a nice place to get pastries. Every single thing she made was a reminder of how she had worked to get a degree in cooking. She had to work 3 jobs at the time to pay for this degree. Now she was 26 years old. She was very proud of Sweet Haven Bakery. Her best friend and only employee, Nicole. Chen came running into the kitchen with a scared look on her face. "Someone is here to see you," she said. "This man is wearing a suit that's probably really expensive. It looks like it costs more. In the oven we use every day." Emma looked unhappy. Checked the clock. "The store opens in 5 minutes. Tell him he has to wait, like all the people." He said, "The thing is, about your father." The wooden spoon fell from Emma's hand. Landed on the counter. It was made of steel. Emma's father had passed away 3 months ago. He died from a heart attack that happened suddenly. This left Emma with a lot of questions and a shoebox full of bills that her father had not paid. Emma spent a lot of time going through her father's things, trying to take care of everything. She thought she was done with all of that and could finally move on from the pain of losing her father, the spoon, and all the other things that reminded her of him, like the shoebox and the unpaid bills that her father had left behind. The man standing in Emma's office made the room feel really small. He had his back to Emma, looking at the pictures on her wall like he owned the place. When he turned around, Emma's breath caught in her throat. The man, he was so calm and confident, like the man was used to being, in charge of every room the man walked into. Emma could not notice the man. Julian Blackwood was really tall, maybe 6'3", which was a lot taller than she thought he would be. He had hair that was styled perfectly, and his eyes were a gray color that reminded her of shiny metal. The suit he was wearing was black, and it fit him well. It looked like it was made just for him. He was also wearing an expensive-looking watch that probably cost a lot of money, maybe even more than she paid for rent in a whole year. When Julian Blackwood extended his hand to her, the watch caught the light, "Miss Walsh." The man's voice was really deep. He spoke in a slow and careful way. He did not sound very friendly at all. "I said I was sorry for bothering her. My name is Julian Blackwood." Emma knew the name away. The Blackwood family was famous in Boston. The Blackwood family owned a lot of hotels on the East Coast. The Blackwood family had a lot of money that had been around for a time. This made people with money feel like they did not have enough. She shook his hand for a second. She felt weird because her skin felt funny when it touched his. The Blackwood family was well known, and Emma could not help but think about the Blackwood family as she stood there. "I am wondering what a Blackwood would want with me. What is it that a Blackwood needs from me? I do not understand what a Blackwood wants with someone. Like me, your father borrowed a lot of money from my family 8 years ago. He took $15 million. Julian slowly put his hand in his jacket, pulled out a folder. He put the folder on her desk carefully. "The money was supposed to help pay for a kind of cancer treatment for your mother. I think the treatment worked for your mother. The cancer treatment that the $15 million paid for seems to have succeeded." Emma's knees felt really weak all of a sudden. She grabbed the edge of her desk to hold herself up. Memories of the past came rushing to her. She remembered when her mother was really sick and Emma was 18 years old. Her mother got better in a way that seemed like a miracle. Emma's father told her that he had taken care of everything. Emma was so happy, relieved that her mother was okay. She never asked her father where he got the money to pay for her mother's treatment. The money just seemed to be, and Emma never thought about it again until now. Emma thought about her mother's illness and her father's role in it. She thought about the money that had paid for everything. That debt was paid back. Her voice was shaking badly. "My father would have definitely paid that debt back." Julian opened the folder. What he found was really bad. There were lots of pages with documents and signatures that belonged to her father. The thing is, her father had not made the payments like he was supposed to. The debt has been getting bigger and bigger for 8 years now. It has been getting interest and penalties, and it is really huge. It is over $20 million now. The debt is a problem. Julian was looking at the debt. It was a lot of money, $20 million, and it had her father's signatures on it. The room started to spin around. Emma. She felt herself sinking into her chair. Emma was staring at these numbers that did not make any sense to her. These numbers represented a lot of money. This was an amount of money that Emma could never earn, no matter how hard she worked for 10 lifetimes. Emma just kept looking at the numbers, trying to understand what they meant for her. I do not have $20 million. The woman looked up at the man, searching his eyes for any sign of kindness. I have my bakery and $12,000 in savings. You can take the bakery and the $12,000 in savings. It will not make a difference to the $20 million that I owe. The $20 million is an amount, and the bakery and $12,000 in savings will not even cover a small part of the $20 million. I know what is going on. Julian closed the folder, leaned against her desk. He was studying the woman with a lot of intensity. This made her feel like she wanted to look. However, I am ready to give you an option. What kind of arrangement? Marriage, the word just stayed there between them like something that they did not want to touch. Emma laughed. It was an apprised laugh. Emma thought this was not possible. The idea was just too crazy. Emma said, "You cannot be serious," to the person who said that thing. "I am completely serious about this." Julian's face did not show any emotion. "I want you to marry me for 1 year. You will be my wife. You have to do what a wife is supposed to do in our social circle. After 1 year is over, we will get a divorce, and your father will not have to pay back. The debt he owes, the debt will be completely forgiven. This is crazy." Emma stood up, backed away from him. People just do not do things like this. Emma thought to herself, this is really crazy. People like him do not actually do things like this. People who owe $20 million do this. He stood up straight. She was amazed again by how he seemed to take up the whole room. "You have another choice, of course. I can go to court, take away the things you own, and take some of your money every time you get paid for the rest of your life. You will lose the bakery. The bakery will be gone. You will lose the bakery and everything else you have." Tears burned behind Emma's eyes. She did not want to cry. She thought to herself, why is this happening to Emma? Why would someone like you need a wife badly that you would do something as bad as blackmail a stranger like Emma? Something flashed across his face, but it was gone in a split second, so she was not really sure if she actually saw it. "My reasons are my own. That is all you need to know. What is important here is the offer that's in front of us. The company is offering you a deal. You have to give us 1 year of your life. You will have to deal with a lifetime of debt. You have to make a decision. The offer is simple. 1 year of your life or a lifetime of debt. Choose the company's offer. Choose a lifetime of debt. The decision is yours to make. You have to choose one of the options. The company's offer is 1 year of your life." Emma thought about her mother, who's healthy now. Her mother does not know what it took for her to survive. Emma looked around the bakery. She saw all the pastry cases and mixing bowls. These things remind her of the years she spent working and trying to make her dreams come true. The bakery is Emma's bakery. She thought about Nicole, who was probably standing outside trying to listen in. Emma also thought about the customers who come to the bakery every morning to buy coffee and croissant. The bakery is important to these people. Emma's bakery is important to them. "If I agree," she said slowly, "what would you expect from this marriage?" She wanted to know what would happen if she said yes to the marriage. What did they think marriage would be like? She was asking about the marriage and what they expected from the marriage. The woman was thinking about the marriage. She had a lot of questions about the marriage. "You would live in my house. We would go to parties and things like that together. People would think we are a couple." Julian stopped talking for a moment. His jaw got a little tighter. The marriage would be real, it would be legal, and everything. What we do when we are alone would be something we figure out together. The things that statement meant made Emma's face feel really hot. "What about after 1 whole year? You get to walk without owing me anything. I am even willing to give you some money to help you start your life over." Julian took a business card out of his pocket. Put it on the desk in front of them. You have 24 hours to think about it. If you do not decide by then, the deal is off. I will take you to court." Julian said this as he looked at the business card on the desk, the card that had all his contact information on it. The contact information. For Julian, he was gone before she could think of what to say. All that was left was the smell of nice perfume and a business card. The business card felt scary in her shaking hands. The smell of the perfume was still. In the air, it was the kind that rich people wear. The business card felt like something was going to happen. It made her feel nervous. She was still holding the business card from him. It felt heavy in her hands. Nicole burst through the door the moment his footsteps faded. What was that all about? Nicole wondered who that man was. Emma could not answer. She was looking at the folder that was still open on her desk. The folder had her father's signature on it, his name written over and over. There were also a lot of numbers in the folder, numbers that were about her mother's life. Now these numbers were asking something of Emma herself, of Emma's life. Emma was staring at the folder at her father's signature at the numbers that talked about her mother. 24 hours had. Emma was standing in Julian's office in the downtown area. There was a paper in front of her. It was the agreement they had to sign before they got married. Julian's lawyer, Patricia Cole, was explaining what each part of the paper meant. She was very good at her job. Explained everything very clearly. The wedding was going to happen in 2 days. Emma would get the clothes she needed and some money every month to buy things she wanted. She could still run her bakery. She had to remember that being Mrs. Blackwood was very important. Emma would have to make sure she did a job as Mrs. Blackwood. Emma signed her name. Then she watched as the ink dried. This was a deal for Emma. She felt like she was giving up more than 1 year of her life when she signed her name. The ink drying on the paper seemed to make it all feel very final for Emma. Emma was really committing to this for a year. The wedding was held in a room at the Blackwood Grand Hotel. Only Patricia and Julian's driver were there to see it happen. Emma had on a white dress that Julian sent to her apartment. The dress was elegant and expensive. It did not look right on her. When it was time to say her vows, Emma spoke in a voice that was not really hers. Then Julian kissed her. It was a very quick kiss. His lips barely touched hers. The wedding of Emma and Julian was Anne 1. Emma and Julian got married in a way that felt strange. To Emma, that evening Julian took her to the penthouse where she would be living. The windows went all the way from the floor to the ceiling. She could see the Boston skyline. Everything in the place was black or white or gray. It was a simple color scheme. The whole place felt really cold, like a museum or something, not like a home where people actually live. The penthouse had a lot of space, but it did not feel cozy. It felt like the Boston skyline was the thing. It's about the penthouse. Emma was standing in the master bedroom. Her hands were shaking badly. She heard Julian come into the room behind her. Then she felt his fingers on the zipper of her wedding dress. It was a slow movement. As he pulled the zipper down, the sound of the metal teeth separating was very clear. Emma felt this as Julian undid the zipper of her wedding dress. He leaned in close to her, and she could feel the warmth of his breath. Then he said something that would stay with her and bother her for a time, even when she was sleeping and having dreams. The words he spoke would haunt her dreams. "You are mine now. You belong to me now. The thing is, you belong to me now, and that is that." The dress fell to the floor around her feet. It was like she was giving up. Emma closed her eyes so she would not cry. She had decided what she was going to do. Emma was going to get through this year. Emma would take care of her mother, make sure the bakery was okay, and come out of this with her head held high. Emma would keep her dignity. Julian Blackwood had secrets that she did not know about. She could not know about them yet. The deal they made was not what it looked like. The price her father had to pay for what he owed would be nothing compared to the cost of the love that Julian Blackwood. She would eventually feel for each other. Julian Blackwood. She did not see this love coming. The night, as Mrs. Blackwood, Emma slept by herself in a guest room. The words that Julian said kept playing over and over in her head in the dark. 1 year is not that long. She thought to herself that she could deal with about anything for 1 year. 1 year of a job or 1 year of a difficult situation would be okay. She felt that 1 year would go by quickly, and then things would get better. She told herself that she could survive 1 year of anything that came her way. She had no idea how wrong she was. The first week of being Mrs. Blackwood was really confusing for Emma. Everything happened fast, and she felt like she was walking on eggs. There were a lot of silences, and Emma and Julian kept their distance from each other. Every morning, Emma woke up in the guest room that Julian had given her. She got dressed in the clothes that somehow appeared in her closet. It was like magic. Then she ate breakfast by herself because Julian always left for the office by 6 in the morning. He was already gone when Emma woke up. Emma was still getting used to being Mrs. Blackwood. It was not easy. For her, Nicole was in charge of the bakery during the day. She sent Emma updates on her phone. It felt really weird, like these messages were from someone else. The bakery sold a lot of things, the lemon tarts, which Mrs. Patterson really loved. We actually sold out of everything by noon. When are you coming back to the bakery, Emma? Emma did not know what to say. Julian had told her that she could still run the bakery. Her main job was to take care of him. Emma was not really sure what that meant for the bakery or for her. Julian had made it very clear that he was her priority, and the bakery was secondary to him. The bakery was something Emma loved. Now it seemed like it was not as important as taking care of Julian. On the day Patricia showed up at the penthouse with a big leather binder. It was so thick that it looked like something you could use to hurt someone. Mrs. Blackwood, we have to talk about the calendar. For Mrs. Blackwood, Emma sat across from Patricia at the dining table. She felt like a kid who got in trouble at school. Patricia was looking at a lot of papers with invitations to parties, dinners for people who give money to charity, and business dinners. There were also lunches with people. Each party had a date or rule about what to wear, and a little note about who was going to be and why it was a big deal. Emma saw that Patricia was really looking at all the details. For each event, like the date, the dress code, and the description of who would be attending and why Patricia should care about the charity galas and the society luncheons. This happens every week? Emma looked at the schedule. She could not believe it. The schedule was really something that made Emma feel very surprised. Every week was going to be like this. Emma was not sure what to think about the schedule. This month is pretty quiet. Patricia did not even look up from the notes she was reading. But December is a different story. It gets really busy. For each of the events in December, you will need to wear the clothes. So I have arranged for a stylist to come and meet with you tomorrow to help you with that. I have a lot of clothes. My clothes are really nice. I like my clothes. You do not like these things, that is clear. Patricia finally looked at her. For a moment her face seemed a little softer. I know all of this is a lot to take in, Emma. As the wife of Julian Blackwood, you have to do certain things. The media will look really closely at what you wear and what you say. My job is to help you get ready. For this, that afternoon, Emma went to the one place where she still felt like Emma, the Sweet Haven Bakery. It smelled good, like a home, with all the butter and vanilla and fresh bread smell. Nicole gave her a hug as soon as Emma walked in the door of the Sweet Haven Bakery. Oh my God, I have really missed you much. Nicole pulled back. She studied Emma's face because she was concerned about her. Are you okay, Emma? You look really tired and exhausted. I am fine. Saying that was not true. It did not feel good. How are things going on here at this place? I am busy. We might need to hire someone if you are not coming back to work full-time at the office. Nicole hesitated for a moment. Emma, what is really going on with you? You got married to that billionaire? Now you live in a big tower and wear really expensive clothes that cost more than our monthly rent for the apartment? Emma, you never told us about this billionaire before, and now everything about you has changed, including where you live and the clothes you wear. Emma really wanted to tell her. Everything about the debt and the arrangement and the cold reality of her marriage to Julian. This marriage was nothing but a business deal. Then Emma remembered the prenuptial agreement she had signed with Julian. It had rules that said she could not tell anyone anything. If Emma told the truth about her marriage to Julian, Julian could take her to court. Try to take everything she had, which was not a lot to begin with. It happened fast. Emma was concentrating on rolling out the pie dough and the familiar motion was helping to calm her nerves. I met him through my family. He needed someone to be his wife because it looks good to people, and I needed something steady in my life. The arrangement works for both Emma and him. Emma gets what she needs. He gets what he needs to. Nicole did not really believe Emma. She decided to let it go. They worked together for 3 hours. Emma felt like herself again, which was a nice change from how she had been feeling for the past week. When Julian's driver showed up at the end of the day, Emma wanted to say no to the ride. She wanted to stay in this store where everything still made sense, and she got in charge. She got into the car and went back to the penthouse. This was the life she had said she would live. She had agreed to this life. Now she was really living it. The black car took her back to the penthouse. Julian was at home when she got there. He was standing by the windows with a glass of whiskey in Julian's hand. Julian turned around as she came in. His gray eyes looked over her jeans, which had flour over them, and her old sweater. Julian's eyes were a nice gray color, like the kind you see in steel. I went to the bakery. The bakery is a nice place. They have many yummy things at the bakery. I like going to the bakery because they have my treats. At the bakery it was not a question. Emma answered anyway. She said yes. Emma needed to check on things without telling me. Anger was rising up in her chest. She did not think that she needed his permission to go to her company. The business was hers all. She felt like she should be able to visit it whenever she wanted to. The fact that he seemed to think otherwise made her really upset. She thought to herself, why do I need his permission to visit my business? Something changed in his face. It is not that I need his permission. I have concerns about keeping him safe. If he is going somewhere, I need to know where he is going. I want to know the place he will be at. Why is that? Emma crossed her arms like she always does when she is upset. Are you worried that I will actually run away from you, from us, from this situation that we are in? Julian put his glass down carefully. I am worried that people who want to hurt me might try to use you to do that. You are now Mrs. Blackwood, whether you like it or not. This means you are in danger. Mrs. Blackwood is a target now. The word sent ice down her spine. She had not thought about that part of the deal before. What kind of enemies do you have with you? These enemies that you were talking about, what are they like? There are people who do not play fair. Julian moved closer to her. She smelled the scent of his cologne mixed with whiskey. These are the kind of people who would use a wife they thought she cared about to get what they want from the people. Like her from Julian and the people who know Julian. I know you do not care about me. The words came out sharper than I intended. This is a deal between us. A simple exchange of things, and that is all it is. Just a transaction. Julian's jaw tightened. His hand reached out, touched her cheek, but it was so quick she was not sure if it really happened. What I feel does not matter. What is important is what people think. If people think that you are important to Julian, then you need to be kept safe. Julian wants to make sure that you are protected because people might think that you matter to Julian. That night, Emma lay awake in the guest room thinking about Julian Blackwood. He was a strange guy. One minute he was cold and distant, the minute he was being really protective of Emma. She heard Julian Blackwood moving around in the master bedroom down the hall. He was pacing back and forth like he could not sleep either. Emma wondered what was keeping Julian Blackwood awake. The charity gala was here before Emma knew it. The stylist Patricia had sent over had completely changed the way Emma looked. She was wearing a deep emerald silk dress that showed off her curves, which she normally covered up with big sweaters. Her dark hair was pulled back into a style that made her neck look really pretty. The charity gala and Emma just did not seem to go, especially with Emma wearing this dress and her hair like that. The charity gala was a deal for Emma. Julian stood in the doorway of her room. She was putting on the diamond earrings that he had sent to her that morning. He just stopped moving. His eyes looked at her. It made her feel warm all over. The way he looked at her made her face feel hot. Julian looked at her like that for a moment. You really look beautiful. The way you are is very beautiful. Your beauty is something that stands out. It makes you look beautiful. The compliment really caught her off guard. She said thank you. Then she told them they looked nice too. The compliment was nice to hear. She thought the person giving the compliment they looked nice too. Julian looked really great. When Julian wore a tuxedo, it was amazing. He had a lot of lines and he seemed very strong, but he was in control. Julian held out his arm to Emma. She took it. She could feel the muscles under the fancy suit that Julian was wearing. Julian in a tuxedo was so good-looking that it was hard to handle. The gala was at the Blackwood Grand Hotel in a fancy ballroom. This ballroom probably cost a lot of money to rent than what most people make in a whole year. There were these crystal chandeliers that made rainbow colors all over the room. The room was full of people, hundreds of them. They were all dressed up in nice clothes like designer gowns and tuxedos. Emma felt like she did not belong there at the gala. The Blackwood Grand Hotel was a place, but it was not really for someone like Emma. She looked around at all the people. At the gala, she felt really out of place. Julian kept his hand at the small of her back as they walked through the crowd. He introduced her to a lot of people. There were many names and faces that she would never remember them. She smiled until her cheeks hurt. She made talk about nothing in particular. The women they met looked at her with curiosity. They probably wondered how someone like her ended up with Julian Blackwood. She tried to ignore these stares from the women. Julian Blackwood was with her. That is all that mattered. She was with Julian Blackwood. That is what she kept telling herself. Then she saw this woman. This woman was really tall. She looked very elegant in her red silk dress. She was watching them with eyes that seemed to be thinking about something. This woman walked up to them like she owned the place. "Julian, darling." Her voice was really sweet and also very mean. "I found out that you got married. This is very surprising to me. The fact that you got married is just so surprising. Victor's sister is Sophia Rousseau." Julian's hand got really tight on Emma's back. Then he said, "Emma, I want you to meet Sophia. Sophia and I have known each other for a time. We are old friends. Sophia and I go way back." The way Sophia looked at Julian showed that they were really close. Sophia's eyes moved to Emma. You could tell she did not like her. Sophia seemed to think it was funny that Julian had found someone like Emma. Julian had finally found someone who was willing to put up with him. Sophia's look said it all about what she thought of Julian and Emma being. Emma said something before she could stop herself. She said, "I find him surprisingly tolerable." Emma thinks he is more tolerable than some people. Sophia's smile got a lot sharper. That is really nice to see. She is a woman. You need to take care of Sophia, Julian. It would be very sad if something bad happened to Sophia, your wife. Emma looked up at Julian with a lot of curiosity. She wanted to know about Victor Rousseau. Who is Victor Rousseau, she asked herself. Emma thought about this for a moment. She really wanted to know more about Victor Rousseau. This person seems like they are not a problem. The tension in his shoulders suggested that there is actually something to be concerned about with this person. The way this person is acting is a little suspicious because of the tension in his shoulders. This person is someone you should probably keep an eye on because the tension in his shoulders is a big deal. The evening went on and on. Emma was drinking champagne. She was trying to figure out which fork she was supposed to use. It made her feel like she was acting in a movie or something. She had never even practiced her lines. Then the music. People began to dance. Emma saw couples getting up and moving to the dance floor to dance with each other. The music was really nice. Emma loved the way the orchestra sounded when they played. Emma felt like she was in a different world, like she was Emma in a fancy movie or something. She was not really sure what to do. Julian held out his hand to me. I thought to myself, may I really take it? Emma let him take her to the dance floor. His hand went to her waist as they started dancing. She had learned how to dance in college. It was a class that she did not think would be useful later. Now it was helping her. They danced together easily. Emma felt herself feeling more calm as he led her around the floor. She was following his moves. It was working out well. Emma was dancing with him. It felt nice. You are a good dancer. My mother wanted me to take lessons when I was 12 years old. Julian's face looked a little nicer then. I did not like taking those lessons one bit at the time. My mother still thought it was an idea. For me, the lessons. The thing he told her was very personal. Emma looked up at him. saw something in his eyes that she had never seen before. There was sadness in his eyes, a sadness that had been there for a long time, like a hurt that never really went away. Emma saw the sadness in his eyes. It made her feel funny. The sadness was old, like something that had happened a time ago, but still bothered him today. Emma looked at him. She saw the sadness. In his eyes, the sadness that he had been carrying around with him for so long. So I was thinking about my mother. I wanted to tell you what happened to my mother. My mother was an important person in my life, and something happened to my mother that I will never forget. I do not know if I should be talking about what happened to my mother, but I am going to tell you. Something bad happened to my mother. It has been very hard for me to deal with what happened to my mother. My mom passed away when I was 17 years old. It was because of cancer. I am sorry. Emma thought of her mother, who was healthy now because of the money that was borrowed from this man's family. I lost my father recently. He had a heart attack. Julian's hand tightened on her waist. I know that you are hurting now. I am really sorry for the loss that you have suffered. Emma and Julian danced in silence. The music was around them. Emma felt a change between Emma and Julian. It was like a break in the walls that Emma and Julian had built around themselves. When the song was over, Julian did not let Emma go away. Julian's thumb made a circle on Emma's hip. This made Emma's breath stop for a moment. Then someone cleared their throat near me. The moment was gone. Julian stepped back. His face was closed off again. We should go talk to people now. Emma had felt it too. This thing between Emma and the other person was not about exchanging something for something else anymore. It was something than that. Emma could sense that things had changed between them. The week something weird happened at the penthouse. Emma was sitting in the living room reading a book when she heard people talking in the foyer. She heard a woman's voice that was really nice and friendly, also kind of pushing for something. Then she heard Julian's voice. He was saying no to the woman, but he was being pretty calm about it. The woman's voice and Julian's voice were talking back and forth. Emma was curious about what was going on with the penthouse and these people. I do not care if she is busy. I am going to meet my sister, and that is what I am going to do. I am meeting my sister whether you like it or not. A woman walked into the room. Emma knew who she was right away. She had seen pictures of her in Julian's office. The woman was Rebecca Blackwood. She was 32 years old. Rebecca Blackwood had hair just like her brother. Her eyes were warmer, and she had a nice smile. When Rebecca Blackwood smiled, it actually reached her eyes. You have to be Emma. Rebecca gave her a hug before. Emma even knew what was happening. I am Rebecca, Julian's sister, the one he has been keeping you away from. Do not believe anything Julian said about me. I am really a person, I am delightful, and I want you to get to know the real me. Not what Julian told you about Rebecca. Julian stood in the doorway. He looked really uneasy. Emma had never seen Julian like that before. Rebecca, this is not a time for you to be here, Julian said to Rebecca. This is a moment. Rebecca sat down on the sofa, patted the cushion next to her. Sit down, Emma. Tell me everything about you and Julian. How did you and Julian meet? How long have you and Julian been together? I am really surprised that Julian did not tell me he was getting married until after the wedding happened. Emma looked over at Julian, not knowing how much she should tell him. We met because of our families. It happened fast, with the family connection and all. Emma thought about Julian. What he might think if she said too much about meeting through family, that is a change. Rebecca's eyes were shining with a look. Julian has not really talked to anyone since the death of Vanessa. The fact that he actually married you says to me that you have to be a special person. The name just stayed there like something you could not see. It was still there. Emma looked over at Julian. She saw that his whole body became very stiff. Rebecca, he said in a tone. His voice had a warning in it. What is going on here? Rebecca said to Emma. Our brother was going to get married 5 years. Something bad happened to Vanessa. She was in a car accident. She died 3 weeks before the wedding was supposed to happen. Our brother Julian has been very upset since. The fact that he actually married you is really surprising. Rebecca turned to Emma, said that, Our brother Julian has been emotionally unavailable for a long time. Rebecca told Emma that the fact that Julian married her is actually very shocking. To her, Emma realized something was different about the way she saw Julian Blackwood now. She thought about how cold he was, how distant he seemed, and how he always kept everything under control. Now she understood that Julian Blackwood was not a person without feelings. Julian Blackwood was a person who was hurt badly. That is enough, Rebecca. Julian's voice was ice. Rebecca stood up, gave Emma's hand a squeeze. If you ever need something, Emma, and you do not know what to do, you can call me. I can be someone to talk to and help you figure things out with this family. I really like you already, Emma. She walked out in a way just like she had walked in. Now Emma was by herself, with Julian, and a truth that she did not know she had to have. Emma was still trying to understand this truth about Julian. The truth was something that Emma had not seen coming. Julian was standing by the windows with his back to Emma. You could tell by the way he was standing that he did not want her to touch him. Every part of his body seemed to be saying, "Stay." Emma walked up to him slowly and stopped right behind him. She did not say anything to Julian. "I am sorry about Vanessa. I do not want you to feel bad for me." The word came out harsh. "Please do not feel sorry for me. I am not like that." Emma moved to stand beside him, looking out at the city lights. I am just starting to understand Emma and what Emma is saying better now. Emma and her husband stood in silence. Two people stuck in a marriage that neither Emma nor her husband wanted. They were both hiding from the pain that Emma and her husband could not escape. Then Emma realized something. It was very clear to her that maybe Emma and her husband were not so different after all. The weeks that came after were pretty weird. Julian started getting earlier. He would eat dinner with Emma of eating by himself in his study. They would talk about things that were not too serious. They talked about the bakery, his hotels, and the weather. They did not talk about anything. The quiet times between them started to feel more okay. The bakery and his hotels were still on their minds. They liked talking about the weather. Then Victor Russo made his move. Emma was leaving the bakery when it was time to close. Two men who were wearing suits got in her way. The taller man said, "Mrs. Blackwood, Mr. Russo wants to talk to you. Something bad happened to her fast." A hand covered her mouth before she could even yell. Then everything just went black. She woke up in a room that she did not know. Her hands were tied to a chair with zip ties. Victor Russo was sitting across from her. He was a looking man, but his eyes were cold. Victor Russo had a smile on his face. It made her feel scared. The smile of Victor Russo made her skin feel funny, Mrs. Blackwood. He leaned forward. "I am sorry for all the drama. Your husband has something that I really want, and I think you can help me get this thing from your husband. Julian is not going to talk things over with you. He will not make any deals with you. Julian does not want to work things out with you. We will see." Victor took out his phone, dialed the number. When Julian's voice was on the end, it sounded really tense. Victor smiled to himself. "Blackwood, I have something that belongs to you. There is a warehouse down by the docks. You have 2 hours to give me control of the Blackwood Grand. If you do not put it in my accounts, your wife will die." Victor said this. He was serious about the Blackwood Grand. He hung up the phone before Julian could even say anything. Emma's heart was beating fast against her ribs. This situation is completely crazy. Julian will never give you his hotel. He will do things for you. Victor looked at her in a strange way. "I have been keeping an eye on you and Julian Blackwood. The way Julian Blackwood looks at you when he thinks nobody is looking. The way Julian Blackwood touches you. Julian Blackwood is in love with you, even if Julian Blackwood has not said it loud yet. You are wrong. I do not know if I am." Victor shrugged his shoulders. "I think we will find out about this thing called life." Victor said that, and then he added that we will see what happens to the people around us, to Victor and to me. Emma spent the 90 minutes trying to make herself believe that Victor was wrong. This was a business arrangement between her and Julian. Julian did not love Emma. The truth was Julian barely knew Emma. The warehouse doors just blew open fast. They exploded inward. Julian walked into the room with 6 of his security people. Emma had never seen him like this before. He looked really scary. His eyes locked onto hers from across the room. The relief in his eyes was very strong. It was so strong that it took Emma's breath away. Julian's eyes were still fixed on Emma. The look of relief on his face was still very clear. Emma was looking at Julian. "Let her go, Rousseau." Victor pulled out a gun. He put it to Emma's temple. Now he told her to transfer the money for the hotel. The hotel was the thing he wanted her to take care of. Julian's face stayed the same. "That is okay." He took out his phone. "Patricia, please move all the money. I want you to transfer all of it." "No." Emma's voice cracked. "Julian, do not do that. Fighting is not worth it, Julian." His eyes met hers. She saw all the things he had been keeping secret. "Yes, that is true. The transfer is done." Victor's phone made a sound to say, "Everything is okay." He felt happy. "Put the gun down." "It was nice doing business with you, Blackwood." Julian's security people moved fast. They were faster than Emma could even keep up with. In a few seconds, Victor was not armed anymore and he was on the ground. Then Julian was cutting the things that held Emma. His hands were shaking when he checked Emma to see if she was hurt. Julian's face was very pale. "Are you okay? Did that person touch you anywhere? I am really worried about you." "Did he actually touch you?" "I am fine." Emma's own hands were really shaking. "Julian, I am talking about your hotel. Buildings can be torn down, rebuilt." The man's voice was really rough. "You are one of a kind. Cannot be replaced." Later in the car heading back to the penthouse, Emma finally found her voice. Emma said to the person she was talking to, "You gave up everything for Emma." Julian looked out the window. "I would let go of all my things to keep Julian safe. This situation was only supposed to last for a while, just 1 year." He looked at her. Emma saw how she felt in his gray eyes. "This has not been temporary for me. I mean, it has not felt that way since I met you. Nothing about you has felt temporary." To me, Emma remembered that day in her bakery office. It is a day that Emma will always remember. Emma recalls how he had looked at the photos on the wall before he turned around to talk to Emma. Emma thought to herself, "You said this meeting was about the debt that Emma owes. I was not telling the truth." Julian took her hand. Put their fingers together. "I saw a picture of you 2 years ago when I was looking into your father. You were smiling in the picture. You had flour on your nose. I could not get you out of my mind. When your father passed away and the debt had to be paid, I saw a chance for myself. I kept telling myself that it was about money, that I could have you around for a year and then let you go. The truth is, Julian was lying to himself about the whole thing with you. Julian really wanted you, and Julian was not going to let you go that easily." Emma's heart was beating fast. "You tricked me into doing something." Emma's feelings were hurt because you played with her emotions. Emma felt like you took advantage of her trust. "Yes. You forced me into getting married with you. I felt like I had no choice because of what you did. You basically blackmailed me into marriage. I do not know how you can do something like that. To me, it is really not right. The fact that you blackmailed me into marriage is something that I will never forget." "Yes." He looked at her in the eye. "I am not a person, Emma. I am a mean and bossy man, and I took advantage of the situation you were in to keep you with me. I do not feel sorry about what I did because it meant I got to have you in my life. I will let you leave if you want to. The money you owed is paid off now. Victor is going to get in trouble with the law. You are free now, Emma. What about the hotel?" Julian shrugged. He said that he will rebuild. Julian has done this kind of thing before, so he is pretty sure he can do it again. Emma thought about the 2 months. It was pretty cold at the beginning. Then things started to get a little better. There were moments when Julian showed her what he was like, not just the tough guy he seemed to be. Emma thought about how Julian had risked everything to save her. She remembered how he looked at her when he did not think she was watching Julian. He had done a lot of things for her. Emma thought about all of that. Julian had looked at her in a way that made her feel special. Emma thought about Julian, what he had done for her. What if I do not want to be free? That is a strange thing to say. I mean, who does not want to be free? I guess what I am trying to say is that freedom is not always what people think it is. Sometimes people do not want to be free because they like the way things are. They like having someone tell them what to do. So what if I do not want to be free? Maybe I like being told what to do. Maybe that makes me feel safe. Maybe freedom is not always the thing for the person. Maybe being free is scary. I do not know. What if I do not want to be free? Julian just froze. What was going on? I think I fell in love with you somewhere between the wedding and now. Emma squeezed his hand. I do not know when it happened with you. Maybe it was when you sent me that stylist. She told me you had spent 3 hours picking out the dress for me. Maybe it was when I caught you reading the business plan for my bakery expansion. It seemed like you actually cared about my bakery expansion. Maybe it was when you gave up your hotel without hesitation. For me, Emma. Her name was a prayer on his lips. I am still really upset that you've played with my feelings. She looked him in the eye. We need to talk a lot about being honest and trusting each other. I do not want to give up on this right now. Not just yet. Julian pulled her into his arms, holding her really tight like she might just vanish into air. He said to her, Julian does not deserve the girl he is holding. The girl is just too good for Julian. I do not think so. Emma felt tears on her cheeks. You are stuck with Emma anyway. He kissed Emma. Then it was a kiss, and a desperate one. Full of all the things they had both been too afraid to feel. And Emma kissed him back. She chose this man, Jack, a man who was complicated and broken and ruthless. He loved Emma enough to risk everything for her, for Emma. Her father's debt was going to cost her 1 year of her life. The price of loving Julian Blackwood was something different, though. Loving Julian Blackwood was something she would do every day. She was happy to do it the rest of her life because loving Julian Blackwood was what she wanted. Emma had 9 months left on her agreement with them. Emma wanted to make some changes to the terms of the agreement. Emma thought it was an idea to talk to them about the agreement and see if they could come to a new understanding. The agreement was important to Emma. Starting with forever, the morning after what happened at the warehouse. Emma woke up to see Julian sitting in a chair next to her bed looking at her while she slept. Julian's hair was all messy, his shirt was. There were dark circles under his eyes. The warehouse incident really seemed to take a toll on Julian. Emma saw that Julian was sitting quietly, his eyes fixed on her, and his whole appearance looked really tired from the events at the warehouse. Did you get any rest, all? She sat up. Pulled the blanket around herself. No. He leaned forward. Put his elbows on his knees? I just could not stop thinking about what could have happened if I had been 5 minutes later. I mean, the thing with the accident and all, it really got me thinking about what would have happened to me. If I had been 5 minutes late, if I had missed that bus, if I had taken a different road and so on. The thought of it is really scary. I kept thinking about this over again, thinking about what could have happened to me, to my family, to my friends, if I had been 5 minutes late. If something bad had happened to me, if I had been in that accident, but you were not. This time, Julian stood up, walked over to the window. Emma, I have to tell you everything. The whole truth, about everything. Julian wanted Emma to know all of it. Over the hour, Julian told her everything. He explained how he looked into her father and found out about the loan that had not been paid back. He talked about how he found her on media and became really interested in the woman he saw in the pictures because she was so different from the people he usually dealt with. Julian said he even paid people to keep an eye on her from away for 2 whole years just to make sure the woman was safe. When your father died, I knew it was not right to use the debt to get what I wanted from you. Julian's voice was flat. He did not sound like he cared. I kept telling myself that you would have a better life with me. I thought I could give you a place to live and protect you from bad things. I thought I could give you a life that you could never have if you were on your own. I made myself believe that I was helping you, that I was saving the debt for you, and that is what I told myself about the debt. You were in charge of me. Emma felt angry, something more fighting inside her chest. You did not let me make my decision. You took away my choice. Emma felt that you were controlling her, and that made her feel angry. You made the decisions for Emma. That was not right. Yes, why are you telling me this now? I mean, what is the point of telling me this? The thing that is confusing me is that you are telling me this now. I do not understand why you are telling me this now. You are telling me this now. It is making me wonder. You said you love me. That is why I have to tell you everything. Julian turned to face her. The way he looked at her with such sadness in his eyes made her stop breathing for a second. I do not want you to love someone who's not real. If you are going to choose me, Julian, you need to know the me. You need to know what I can do, what I am capable of, and that is what Julian wants her to understand about him. Emma thought about the agreement. She had signed it, had those non-disclosure clauses. In it, she wanted to see the loan documents, the real loan documents that actually existed. Not any copies or fake ones. Emma was looking for the actual original loan documents so she could know. What was really going on with the loan? Julian stopped for a moment, then he got out his phone. He showed Emma some papers that were scanned in page after page. Emma looked at them carefully, and she was glad she had studied accounting in school. The numbers were like a story. Her father had borrowed a lot of money, $15 million. He had been making payments on this loan for 3 years. That had brought the amount down to $9 million. Then he just stopped making these payments. There was something in the fine print that caught her attention. The fine print had a clause that said if the borrower died, the debt would go to any heirs of the borrower.